Coming up on Sports Paws, hockey season is finally upon us. Both the men's and women's ice hockey teams begin their regular season.
We also have volleyball, field hockey, and rugby. Everything you need to know about this week in Quinnipiac sports.
Sports Paws
Starts
right now.
Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting edition of Sports Paws. I'm Joey Zocco.
And I'm Tom Albanese.
What a week it was. Jess Rusin set the Quinnipiac field hockey all-time goals scored record.
And how great was it to be back at the TD Bank Sports Center this weekend for the beginning of hockey season?
It was really great, Tom. The women's team was at home while the men's team began their season over 3,000 miles away in Alaska.
But before the teams took the ice, the coaches met the press.
Men's hockey coach Rand Pecknold and women's coach Rick Seeley answered questions on Tuesday, October 8th at Quinnipiac Hockey Media Night. It was held at the University Club at the TD Bank Sports Center. Here is Pecknold and Seeley talking about their teams as they enter the new season.
The players that have built this program, the seniors over the last 4 years have established an identity of a committed, hardworking group, and that continues to grow. But I think this year the chemistry seems better than ever. Megan Turner, gave us way more than we expected in the first weekend. I mean, she was quicker. I mean, we knew coming in she was a complete player, very intelligent hockey player, but her tenacity was phenomenal, and she was doing, even when we were struggling in the game on Saturday, she was doing good things every shift. And then, Emma Woods, who's the ECAC Rookie of the Week, she struggled a bit, and that's fair. But she's a talent that there aren't many like, and here's a kid who's kind of struggling through a couple of games, and yet she's getting the first 2 goals of her career in the last 10 minutes of her second collegiate game. Well, Chelsea's a junior, so she's had 2 years behind Vici. She's a great kid, she's a great competitor. Confidence has been a bit of an issue, and I think this weekend solved that. I mean, she was solid.
And we come back next weekend to play the #1 team in the country in Lowell. So, and certainly it's interesting when I set those games up with Norm Bazine, the Lowell coach, a couple of years ago. I don't think either one of us realized we'd both be coming off Frozen Four seasons. So those are going to be two big ones, and obviously huge points in the pairwise for us if we can, get a win or two that weekend. We're going to start the year with them broken up, and I think one of the things that there were multiple things why we were good last year, but one of the things was our balance. We had the Jones line, then Langer's line was great, carried us for a good chunk of the early part of the season. Then we had Jordan's line with Bryce and Benny Arndt that carried us for a good chunk of January and February, and it just really created a lot of matchup problems. I think a lot of teams wanted to put their checking line and their best defensive pair up against the Jones twins and Pekka. And then by the time they got to Jordan got to see the 5th and 6th D, and that line just dominated, and that won a lot of games for us. So that's our plan again. If we can have Pekka kind of take Langer's spot in center line, it really makes it a tough matchup. And then we got Jordan's line coming back after that, gives us 3 tough lines. He was he had a monster year. It's going to be tough for anybody to replace that. But we like our goalies. Right now it'll be Michael Gartig. We'll kind of have the ball. We'll see what happens there. And if you go back, he was in a tough spot last year. We really didn't get the opportunity to play, and he's good enough to play. But when your best player is the goalie, you go with one guy. But if you go back and look up Gartzy's junior statistics, they're phenomenal. His last year in Penticton, I think he was 41-4, and they won a national championship.
Junior goalie Chelsea Layden and freshman forward Emma Woods each earned their first career ECAC honors after the team's first week of the season. For Layden, she won the Goalie of the Week award after posting her second career shutout in a 1-0-1 weekend. Woods earned the Rookie of the Week award after scoring her first 2 career goals, including the game-winning goal in the team's first win over St. Cloud State University.
Coming off the undefeated weekend at St. Cloud State, the Bobcats returned home to play Penn State in their first home game of the season. This was the Nittany Lions' first trip to Hamden. The weekend series started Friday night up at the Bank. And so here we are, Penn State taking on Quinnipiac in Quinnipiac's first home game of the season. Let's jump into the first period. The Bobcats are going to get on the board first here. It's going to be a nice pass from Nicole Brown and Emma Woods to Kelly Babstock for the goal, and the Bobcats lead 1-0. Now in the second, the Bobcats are going to strike again. It's a power play for Cheyenne Darkangelo. She's going to receive the pass from Morgan Fritz Ward and score. Under the pad of Nicole Panicha, the Bobcats are up 2-0. Let's stay in the second. The Nittany Lions are going to answer. That's Shannon Yoxheimer receiving a pass from Nielsen, and Penn State gets it on the board. Now, Sydney Rossler is going to make a nice play along the boards. It's going to be tipped in by Fritz Ward again. The Bobcats up 3-1. Let's go to the third. 15 minutes in, Cheyenne Darkangelo is going to get her second goal of the game and give the Bobcats a 4-1 lead. Now, minutes later, the Bobcats weren't done. Megan Turner is going to score for the Bobcats to give them a 5-1 lead. And that is what it would end. The Bobcats defeat the Nittany Lions by a score of 5-1.
And now, Joe, let's head back up to High Point Solutions Arena for the second game between Quinnipiac and Penn State. Now, early on in the first period, Nicole Brown is going to skate up the ice, and she's going to find Morgan Fritz Ward, and the shot is saved by Panicha. And the second period now, a lot of movement. There's Nicole Brown as she gets the goal as she's falling down on the ground. Quinnipiac up 1-0. Now Penn State trying to fight back right here. They're going to have a chance to put the puck in the net, but there's Chelsea Layden. Great save by Layden. Now as the third period comes in, things are going to go near the Bobcats' way. Nicole Connery is going to skate up the ice. She's going to find Emma Woods on the inside, who puts it in the goal for Quinnipiac. They lead 2-0. Now on the power play, Quinnipiac, great passing around the ice, and it's going to go to Cheyenne Darkangelo, and she's going to score for Quinnipiac. 3-0 Bobcats. Now down 3-0, Penn State calls a timeout to see if they could try to get themselves back in the game, but unfortunately Quinnipiac was just too good tonight. Nicole Connery, first attempt, no good, but her second attempt right there is good, and it's going to be a 4-0 lead for Quinnipiac. Now final chance for Penn State to try to get something going, but Chelsea Layden was just too strong in this game. Another save by her. Quinnipiac defeats Penn State 4-0, sweeping them on the weekend. For Layden, 14 saves on the day, her third career shutout.
And we now bring in our women's hockey analyst, Connor Voss. Connor, how did the team look against Penn State this weekend?
The team actually looked very, very good against Penn State. Penn State, although not a very strong team, Quinnipiac had to beat them good to prove that they really belong there. And they did with a 4-0 win and a 5-1 win. They really proved what they're capable of and showed that they're beating teams that they should beat by scores that they should score. So the offense is good. The defense is clearly there, registering one shutout. So they've looking really good so far early on in the season.
Connor, great points. Now, how has the new goaltender, Chelsea Layden, looked so far for the year, and how has she done replacing Victoria Vigilante?
Layden has done a great job replacing Vigilante this year, already recording 2 shutouts in the 4 games that the Bobcats have played this year, really making saves when they need to have saves, catching things that a lot of goalies wouldn't catch, really just been in the net, keeping everything strong. And of course, the defense has been helping out a ton by keeping shots from going off. Layden, however, has done a very good job of stopping what has gotten through to her defense.
From one new face to another, how has the transfer forward from Syracuse, Cheyenne Darkangelo, looked for the Bobcats? And how has she done replacing what Erica Uden-Johansson brought to the team last year?
Well, Darkangelo has been a very, very good pickup for the team so far. She's got 3 goals on the season, including 2 on the power play, which makes her a big threat on the power play, which is another thing that the Bobcats need. They really have a new game on offense with her out there. Really, she's the go-to on the power play. And she's a good offensive piece with 3 goals now. She's really done a great job of doing everything she needs to do. Whenever she gets the puck on her stick, she's always shooting, scoring. So she's really done a great job, and she's been a great pickup for the Bobcats so far.
So Connor, looking ahead now, the Bobcats play their next 4 games away from home. The first 2 are against the University of Maine next weekend. So what do you expect from the team in those games against Maine?
The Bobcats should do well. Maine so far, they've played 4 games. They lost 2 of them to Canadian Women's Hockey League team, the Boston Blades. Strange to play them, but they also lost 5-1 to Boston College, who's a perennially good hockey team, and then tied New Hampshire. The Bobcats, who have done well so far, they have momentum going into these games against Maine, and Maine, who hasn't had too much success so far, really looking to get a first win, but the Bobcats have their chance to really step up and prove that they're a team that needs to be recognized this season by beating Maine in both of those games.
Well, Connor, thank you so much for your points.
No problem. Thank you.
The men's ice hockey team traveled out to Anchorage, Alaska for their first 2 games of the regular season. In the first game against Alaska Anchorage, the Bobcats came out on the losing end 3-1. Bryce Van Braven scored the 1 goal for Quinnipiac off assists from Jordan Samuels-Thomas and Cory Hibbeler. The Bobcats bounced back on Saturday, defeating Alaska Fairbanks 4-1. 3 Quinnipiac freshmen, Derek Smith, Sam Annis, and Connor Clifton, each earned their first career goals in the victory.
And the women's ice hockey captain, Amanda Colin, and men's captain, Cory Hibbeler, sat down with Q30 Sports' Camille Bova to talk about the upcoming season and what we can expect to see from each team in the ECAC.
I'm Camille Bova, and I'm here with both the men's and women's ice hockey captains, Amanda Colin and Cory Hibbeler. So questions for both of you guys. You're both captains this year, so what are you guys going to do for the team leadership-wise?
I think a big part for me on our team is just to make sure in between periods we're staying focused, staying on track, and taking care of business both on and off the ice.
I think just leading by example, making sure that I do the things that I need to do, and I think the guys will follow.
Okay, and Cory, what are your thoughts on the men being ranked 3rd for the ECAC preseason poll?
We don't really try to get caught up too much in the rankings. I mean, especially at the beginning of the year, they don't really matter much. So I guess it's nice. It's a surprise with us losing so many seniors. We would have probably thought we would have been a little bit lower in the rankings, but we're really not looking into it too much at all.
And Amanda, what about you with the women being ranked 4th in the ECAC?
We always like to be underestimated. I think it's nice when people don't put those outside expectations on us, so it's kind of excited about it, I guess.
And the Yale game is in November this year. Does that change the intensity for the game at all?
I don't think it changes the intensity at all. I think the intensity will definitely be there for that game. We've been wanting to play them ever since we lost the national championship to them last year. So I think that's going to be an exciting game, and we can't wait to play them.
Okay, and what are your thoughts on Kelly Babstock, it being her last year?
It's just sad to see her have her last year here, but I mean, we're excited. I'm excited that she's back and she's a part of our program again. Obviously, she brings so much to the team, and we're excited to have her.
Okay, and you have a streak of 110 consecutive games played for Quinnipiac. Along with that, do you have any other goals for your final season here at Quinnipiac?
I think just to be a bigger part of our team offense, but also to elevate my defensive game, to set an example and be a big PKer and a big power play player.
I think winning a championship last year was a lot of fun, and we won a lot of games, and it was an exciting year for the program and for the team, but we still didn't win a championship the whole year, so I think that's really what we're focused on.
And with both of you being seniors, do we have plans after college?
Yep, so I actually am going to head back to Minnesota, and I have a job lined up with Ernst & Young for next fall. I'm
a little bit more uncertain. I'm going to kind of evaluate my options at the end of the year and go from there.
Okay, well, it was great talking to you both. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's time to take a break here on Sports Paws, but when we come back, one Bobcat enters the Quinnipiac record book on the field hockey turf. Also, we will see how the men's and women's soccer teams play against Niagara, and women's volleyball, how they fared coming off their 2 wins last week. Don't go away. Stay tuned to Sports Paws.
The Bobcat Shop, located at 1010 Sherman Avenue in Hamden. Your #1 choice for Bobcat merchandise. The Bobcat Shop features 2 floors of countless styles and colors. With a full 19,000 square foot screen printing and embroidery operation on the premises, Campus Customs and Simplify can design and decorate any garment or promotional product as quickly as needed. Stop in and say hi.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike sub right now. Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken with cheese for just over $4, giant cheesesteak subs, and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q-Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. The field hockey team defeated Brown University on Wednesday by a score of 2-1. Quinnipiac senior forward Jess Rusin scored on a turnaround shot in the 3rd minute. Brown junior forward Megan O'Donnell would answer quickly with a goal in the 8th minute. Senior Jenelise Taylor scored the eventual game winner for the Bobcats in the 51st minute.
After Quinnipiac's victory over Brown, the team prepared for their first MAC game in program history against Sacred Heart. The Bobcats came into the game with a record of 7-5 and winners of 6 of their last 7 games. There was a chance for history as senior Jess Rusin needed just one more goal to set the Quinnipiac all-time record for goals scored. Would Sunday be Rusin's day? And the field hockey team taking on the Pioneers of Sacred Heart University. We're going to pick things up quickly in the first half with the score tied at 1. Sacred Heart trying to take the lead on this breakaway opportunity, but here comes Megan Conboy, and she dives in front, makes a nice save right there. Score remains 1-1. Now Quinnipiac trying to answer right back, but Sacred Heart's goalie Mary Altapeter, makes a nice save there. Tied 1-1. Now Jenelise Taylor off the penalty corner, another nice save by Altapeter, still tied 1-1. Going into the second half. Now Megan Osanic gets the quick goal for Quinnipiac to get them to lead 2-1. Now Sacred Heart trying to respond right here. They're going to have a couple of opportunities against Conboy, but Megan Conboy is going to save every single shot. Quinnipiac still holds 2-1. Now, ladies and gentlemen, history is made right here. Kristen Engelke passes it to Jess Rusin, and she turns around and makes the goal. Jess Rusin breaks the Quinnipiac all-time goals record. It was her 32nd goal of her collegiate career, extending Quinnipiac's lead to 3-1. Now, Quinnipiac putting the icing on the cake right here. Here comes Engelke in front of the net. She taps it into the goal. Quinnipiac wins 4-1. Here's Matt Delane with more on today's historic win.
I'm Matt Delane here at the QU Turf Complex where history was made today. Not only did the Bobcats secure their first win in the MAC, but Jess Rusin broke the all-time goals record for the Bobcats with her 32nd goal of her career. She passes Heather Cady, who previously held the record with 31 goals. Currently, Rusin has 78 points to her name. With 6 games and a tournament remaining, there's plenty of opportunity for Rusin to put her name on top. She is currently 2nd on the all-time points list. With the win today, the Bobcats improved to 8-5 on the season and 1-0 in the MAC. Next week, they take on Robert Morris. With Q30 Sports, I'm Matt Delane. Back to you guys.
On Saturday, the Quinnipiac men's soccer team defeated the Purple Eagles of Niagara University 1-0 for their first MAC win in program history. It was a scoreless game until the 60th minute when Simon Hind scored for the Bobcats off an assist from Ola Ogunjobi. For Hind, it's his team-leading 6th goal of the season. The win brings Quinnipiac to a record of 3-4 on the season and a conference record of 1-0-1.
From men's soccer to women's soccer, the Bobcats hosted Niagara at the Quinnipiac soccer field, and the game ended in a 1-1 draw. The Bobcats were rewarded a penalty kick opportunity after a Niagara handball, and they would not spoil the opportunity as senior midfielder Anya McKeever scored for the Bobcats in the 34th minute. They would go on to win 1-0. Now, Quinnipiac's next game is on Wednesday when they travel to Marist to take on the Red Foxes. And the women's volleyball team lost to the Siena Saints 3-1 on Wednesday. Katie Uricki had 10 kills while Allison Lee had 6 blocks in the match. The loss ended the 2-game winning streak started last week with a win against Ryder. The Bobcats look to get back into the win column against Niagara this past weekend. And we're going to jump in the Bobcats and the Purple Eagles of Niagara at Burt Con. Let's go to the first set. You're going to see Niagara serving here, and it's going to be played to the Bobcats, and Allison Lee is going to be denied by Melissa McGuinn. Michaels keeps it alive. McGuinn with the kill. Niagara up early. Let's keep going. It's going to be Emily Hopkins who lobs it over. The Bobcats can play it. It's Katie Uricki's going to hit it over. The Purple Eagles control, and this is going to be Amanda Sador spike for the Purple Eagles. They take the first set. Now in the second, it's going to be played to the Bobcats, and here is Ogden sets it for Jamie Palucci, who's denied at the net by Chelsea Watson, and the ball falls on some miscommunication. Another serve, and it's blocked by Ray. Ray gets blocked by Lee. Now here's Palucci, and the Purple Eagles are playing. Palucci's going to dive for it, keep it alive. And here is Ray, who's going to sneak it over the net for the Purple Eagles, and they would take the second set. Now, in the third, Q's going to get on the board. Watson serving. Michael's diving to keep it alive, and here is Uricki. Nice touch over the net, and it's good. Still in the third, the Purple Eagles are going to play it over. And Purple Eagles get it. And here is McGuinn, who's going to be blocked by Uricki, but she stays with it and gets the kill. And again, Niagara is going to finish this off. Lee with a spike attempt blocked. Access denied. Purple Eagles are going to defeat the Bobcats 3-0. And ahead on Sports Paws, we'll show you how volleyball finished this weekend against Canisius, and the women's rugby team squares off against the University of Massachusetts. We'll also bring you an update on the golf and cross-country teams. All that and much more coming up after the break.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike sub right now.
Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken with cheese for just over $4, giant cheesesteak subs, and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q-Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
The Bobcat Shop, located at 1010 Sherman Avenue in Hamden. Your #1 choice for Bobcat merchandise. The Bobcat Shop features 2 floors of countless styles and colors. With a full 19,000 square foot screen printing and embroidery operation on the premises, Campus Customs and Simplify can design and decorate any garment or promotional product as quickly as needed. Stop in and say hi.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. The women's volleyball team, after losing 3-0 to Niagara, looked to get back on the winning end against Canisius. Now Quinnipiac huddling up, and there's Canisius, and let's go right into the first set. Canisius is serving to Quinnipiac, and Emma Ogden is going to set up for Jamie Palucci, but the ball is out of bounds. Now, Joe, errors would be a huge issue for the Bobcats moving forward. Now here's Brittany Robinson getting the ball over the net. And Canisius is going to set it up. Here comes Rachel Klein. Logan Riker, no, watch out, cameraman. And there goes Canisius extending their first set lead. Now for Canisius, going for Quinnipiac again. Uricki and Ogden, a little miscommunication right there. Canisius wins the first set 25-17. Off to the second set we go. Ogden serving to Canisius. They set it beautifully right there. And this freshman, Caitlin Tyler, with a quick kill. And Golden Griffins come out to an early 4-0 lead. Now, Quinnipiac trying to respond right now. Ogden is going to Chandler Thornton, but Chandler Thornton's shot hits the top of the net, and Canisius wins the second set 25-19. Now, the third set, Joe, here comes the errors like I mentioned earlier. Quinnipiac, here's Bonnie Conklin right there, and her shot goes out of bounds. Canisius with another point right there. And Joe, it's going to happen again right here. The set by Ogden a little too far to the left, and Palucci's serve goes right into the net. And another point for Golden Griffins, and now match point. And again, a block right there by the part of Canisius, and Canisius gets the job done, defeating Quinnipiac 3-0, and the Bobcats finish with 27 errors in the game. Now, after losing 3 straight on the weekend, Quinnipiac now finds itself in 8th place in the MAC standings. The Bobcats have a 4-16 record and have fallen to a 2-6 MAC record. Siena, Manhattan, and Marist find themselves in the top 3 positions with less than 3 weeks left in the regular season. The Bobcats will head to Marist on Sunday.
We now bring in our analyst Carolyn Fales to talk some Quinnipiac volleyball. Carolyn, where did the Bobcats struggle this weekend?
Hi, Joey and Tom. What I'm going to do for you right now is break down exactly what happened last weekend as opposed to this weekend. Last weekend, they played Ryder and St. Peter's. Both of these teams are ranked quite close to Quinnipiac in the MAC standings. In the Ryder game, Quinnipiac had some really strong blocks. In addition to 2 outstanding players, Emma Ogden, of course, had her career-high 47 assists in this game, as well as Jamie Palucci having 13 kills, which was a career and team high. So that game went really well. And then in St. Peter's, Katie Uricki stepped up, and she had some great kills. So this team was really communicating well, going off some good wins. And they were getting the ball up and playing very scrappy. So they had a really good weekend, and we're hoping to carry that momentum into this weekend. However, that was just not the case. Quinnipiac played Niagara, Siena, and Canisius. First game, Siena. Siena is ranked first right now in MAC standings. In the Siena game, Siena had 20 aces. If you don't know what an ace is, it's when they serve the ball over and either only one person touches it or it hits the floor. So they had 20 free points from that, and Quinnipiac really just couldn't get the ball up to pass it. Then in the Niagara game, Niagara has the worst record in the MAC currently, and they had 20 errors against Niagara, so that really hurt them in that game. Then Canisius, they just couldn't get the lead. Canisius in the first and third sets had an 11-2 run. So this really just wasn't good for the Bobcats. They couldn't come back, and they were trying really hard to. So what I'm seeing is wrong with this team right now that they need to fix is they're inconsistent. They're not keeping the passes up to Ogden. What they really need to do is get that first ball, pass it very nice to Ogden so that she can get the setup and make the play happen. A lot of people liken a setter in volleyball to a quarterback in football, and I'm sure you saw what Tom Brady did this weekend, so obviously that position is really important. So I think this team really just needs to get the ball to Ogden so that she can make things happen and they can get back on track.
Heading into the weekend, the Quinnipiac women's rugby team had won 3 of their last 4 games, including 2 straight wins against Army and the University of Virginia. Quinnipiac faced off against the University of Massachusetts Amherst on Saturday, looking to stay on track. And we go down to Alumni Field for the UMass Minute Women and the Quinnipiac Bobcats in some women's rugby. We're going to pick it up in the first half. Quinnipiac is going to get on the board first. Elena Orlando to Nancy Dunn. Dunn to Costco, in for the try. Bobcats lead 5-0. UMass would return the favor. Emily Stone's going to push and push and push. She'll get in for the try in the 17th minute. They tie it up at 5. Here's Shannon Durkin dashing down the field, though, for the Bobcats for her second try of the half. Her 40-yard run gives the Bobcats a 24-5 lead. Now let's take it to the second half. The Bobcats would strike first again. Christina Albers is going to run. It's going to be a 65-yard run. She can go all the way for the try and extend the Bobcat lead to 34-5. Here comes Elisa Queller. The Bobcats are going to strike again. Elisa Queller to Costco. And watch this move on the UMass player, right by her. She's going to go all the way down for another try. The score is now 51-5 Bobcats. And there she is scoring. UMass would try to make one more push and try to get back in this game, but it would be unsuccessful. And here comes Costco. The Bobcats aren't done yet, though. They're going to add to their lead. Here comes Costco again from Queller. What a combination. She's going to run down the field, score another try, and finish the game. The Bobcats would win 94-5. Now for some men's basketball news. Senior forward Ike Azotam was voted to the preseason All-MAC third team. Last year, Azotam averaged 13 points and 8 rebounds a game for the Bobcats and recorded 10 double-doubles. Quinnipiac will open its season on November 9th at the Connecticut 6 Classic against the Hartford Hawks and will embark on their first season in the MAC on November 6th against Fairfield.
The Quinnipiac women's golf team placed 4th out of 12 teams at the St. John's Invitational in East Meadow, New York. Freshman Nicole Scola continued her stellar play, leading the Bobcats by finishing in 4th place out of the 65 competing student athletes. She posted a 79 and a 74, respectively, in the 2 rounds.
The women's tennis team won their first MAC conference match against Rider on Saturday by a score of 7-0. The women improved to 1-1 on the season with the win. The men's tennis team also swept Rider on Saturday to improve to 4-0. This is the Bobcats' best start since the 2009-2010 season.
Both the men's and women's cross-country teams traveled to Boston, Massachusetts to participate in the New England Championships. The women finished 6th out of 43 competing teams. Neve Ash placed 11th out of 283 competitors to earn all New England honors. As for the men, they placed 20th out of 41 teams. Brendan Copley led the way for the Bobcats, finishing in 20th place. And Joe, that completes another episode of Sports Paws.
Well, hold on there, Tom. Even though Sports Paws is over, Q30 Sports keeps going.
You're absolutely right. For constant updates on Quinnipiac sports, follow us on Twitter at Q30 Sports.
Also, for more information, like us on Facebook and check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/user/Q30TV. I'm Joey Zocco.
And I'm Tom Albanese. See you next time on Sports Paws.